Alright, well here's the neck build. This is the part I've been waiting for forever, and I thought I'd record it from a couple different angles here. What I have here is my neck. I have the truss rod part routed out. This is resin, hasn't been polished yet, but it has glow-in-the-dark resin with some purple. It's going to look really cool. Oops. It's going to take a little work. This is the truss rod, a double action truss rod, which I'm going to put in this slot right here. It'll lock it in. And then this will allow it to be turned through a little hole right here, which can be turned left or right depending on whether you want to turn the neck this way or this way. And it is a great way to keep your neck in balance. And there are old guitars built without them, but they're very useful, and I wouldn't feel right not putting it in. However, I didn't order, I don't believe, the bass truss rod, and I wasn't sure because this is my first one, so it came up a little short. Of course, this was routed out in haste because I never quite was sure how big I wanted it in the first place. So let's just put it this way. As long as this thing fits in here, everything should be just fine. And it looks like what I'm seeing here is this just needs a little bit more finagling in one part. Just a tiny bit. And you know, you get one chance to do this right. One chance. You don't want to screw it up. Now, once I get this truss rod down to the point where I want it, wish I had a smaller one. Once I get it down to the point I want it, which it pretty much is already, then I have this piece of blue tape that I'm going to put over it while I glue the fretboard on. The fretboard is right here. It's made out of rosewood, Bolivian rosewood. Oh, let me tell you, don't ever cut with the chisel towards yourself, like I'm doing right here. Not just because it's unsafe, because I've literally, carving a stick like this when I was 20 years old, it slipped and went right down through here, opened my whole hand up. My carpenter friend was there with me. He looked in and he puked. It was so gross. Anyhow, you don't want to be that guy. And so be careful. I see that it's only a little bit deeper, and I think the actual issue is right here where the neck begins. So what I'm going to do is just chip this part out a little bit more. Let's see if it sits in there nicely now. Oh, perfect. Perfect. Okay. So what I also have is for the filler, for the part that I said that I might have been too short, I made myself a nice little stick here. And it should fit in nicely right there. So I'm just going to go ahead and glue that in first to start. Don't mind me. I'm kind of a perfectionist. But not that much, I guess. Okay. Boom. Part one complete. Actually, before I do this, I need a quick towel. Alright, well, I don't want to use a kitchen towel. Don't tell my wife. Okay, so that's good to go. Now, next step, I guess we just drop this truss rod right in place with the flat side up. It's so simple. I was always worried about this. I didn't know how it stayed in. I was like, well, how do you lock it in? And it just stays in with the head itself. And then you turn through that little hole, because once this is on and it's covered, you have to have a hole here to reach the truss rod, so you need to bore this hole first. Then I have this nice little pre-cut piece of tape that I made. not necessary, but I'm doing it anyway. Or maybe it is necessary. I've heard people say they don't even bother because the glue doesn't matter in there. If a little bit of glue gets in the crack, the whole idea of this is to keep the glue out of this crack while I glue up this board right here. So the first thing I'm going to do is get myself a little paintbrush, because it's the easiest way to apply glue. And we're going to be liberal with this shit, because that's just what we do. Alright. No, this video is not sponsored by Titebond, but this is what carpenters use. It's what luthiers use. It's what everybody uses. It's some of the best wood glue there is, and you know, it's one of those sayings, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. You know, it's if you have a tool that works and a product that works, don't interrupt while I'm recording, boy. Unless it's important, of course. I guess if you're dying, that's a different story. But my kids know. They aren't dying. Or are you? So I think what I'm going to do is get this damp first. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to have any issues with the diluting the glue. So I'm just going to brush it right on here. There we go. I like glue. This is way more than is necessary. But is it? The thing with glue is glue is stronger than the wood itself. That's a fact. I have worked on several carpentry projects where, dang it, I got pieces in there. Forgot to clean off my work spot from all the little crap things I just... Well, that's okay. I know better. I got a little hasty. Alright, let's get this out of here. Alright. I'm gonna go get the... Wait, no. Just gotta deal with it. There we go. Just gotta deal with it. I'm not too concerned. Or am I? My goodness. Sure blew that, didn't I? Little tiny pieces of wood aren't that big of a deal. I mean, I've done worse. I mean, the thing is, the end result is what really matters. People are super anal about making sure that every process is done a certain way, and that's only to make sure that the end product is quality. That's it. That's the only reason. And so as long as you know what you can get away with, in this case I don't, because I'm a rookie. Here we go. Boom. God, I hope I didn't forget anything there. Wouldn't that be funny? Alright, so now I have the necks together, or the neck parts together, rather. So the first thing I'm going to do is come through here, push these down together a little bit, kind of wipe off some of the excess glue that forms. Because there will be a lot, but I want to make sure every gap is filled. Alright, now I'm going to take this and move the whole thing right over here where I have this clamped piece of wood underneath to take a brunt of the, so I can clamp right on here. And I have several clamps ready. You don't do this without having clamps ready. Clamps! Clamps! Alright, now grab my first clamp. Gotta start somewhere. Make sure everything's actually aligned, whichever method you're using, or however you built yours. And it is tricky to get them perfect. Oh, yeah. There we go. And a lot more glue is going to start coming out the sides, I'll tell you that. I'm going to go rinse this thing real quick.